Hey friends, I've got a bunch of new makeup, so this is episode 1 of testing new makeup for the year 2025. If you'd like to hear my thoughts on the new products from Gourmand Girls, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Urban Decay, then just keep watching. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I have a huge passion for makeup, especially indie eyeshadow palettes. So if you want the latest, the greatest news on all of the indie makeup, then highly recommend subscribing to my channel because I do post quite often. And don't forget to hit that bell so you're notified every time I post. Now without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, you guys, I'm super duper stoked. I don't have any makeup on except the new ColourPop primer. I was curious about this, so I did put it on. I wanted to see if it would sink into my face. So this is the Pretty Fresh Set It Up primer, and they did send this to me. And from what I can gather, this is a hydrating primer. It says it's a weightless cream gel primer that instantly hydrates skin and extends makeup wear, helps blur, pores, and control shine all day for an airbrush finish. I don't really see any of that happening. I did use a brush to just like apply this all over my face. I was really hoping for some hydration because my skin does feel quite dry. It's quite cold out, you know, polar vortex and whatnot. But this was my first time trying it, so we'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to mention that I did have that on. Now the next product I want to try is the new ABH foundation. I did actually wear this once already in a video you'll see in the future, but this is their new foundation and it's really nice. I really enjoyed it the first time I wore it. I have it in the shade 4N in case we are foundation twins. I always want to try and mention colors to you guys because it can be quite hard picking out shades. Now, I really thought this was a very blurring foundation, so hopefully you guys will be able to see it in this little demo. So I'm just going to put a little bit on, and then I just have my Shop Missy sponge, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend it on to my face. I really thought it was quite blurring the last time I wore it, so I'm curious to see if you guys will notice the same thing. I have like one little bit of acne on my cheek there. It did feel a little bit matte the last time I wore it, but I literally wore it the day it was like negative 40 or something here. It was like insanely cold, so I have a feeling like our heat was on. It was running overtime. So I feel like that's probably why it made my face feel really dry. But it has like a beautiful finish to it. It has a little bit of a sheen, like a little bit of a dew, but nothing major, not like any other foundation. So here's my bare skin. Here's the side with just one layer of foundation. And I feel like it does really perfect my skin. Has that blurred effect to it. And I'm really, really excited about this foundation. I feel like it's a little warm, like it's just like a hair warm for me, but it's nothing major. So I think when I like blend it on to my entire face, you wouldn't be able to really notice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop some on to the other side of my face as well. And just so you guys know, I am 36. I live in a very cold climate. Well, obviously it's winter, so it's like extremely cold. And I have pretty normal to dry skin. So that's a little bit about my skin type. And I know this foundation is kind of being marketed to oily skin gals, but I actually really like a matte or like a satin or a natural finish foundation. I was really into dewy foundations, but I've kind of moved on since then, so keep that in mind. But look at it. I feel like it definitely has like a soft blur, and I'm really happy with it so far. It's only my second time wearing it, but it has impressed me quite a bit. Now, I don't feel like I have to talk too much about the Sigma color corrector, but I've been really enjoying this. I actually really need to go hunting in my extra bin to see if I have another backup of this. I honestly never saw myself finishing this up because for a while I wasn't really reaching for it. But I actually really notice a difference in my under eyes when I use this. I would use the Huda one a lot, but I feel like this one really gives me a nice layer of cover. And so I've been really enjoying it. And I'm using the BK Beauty. This is the 114. It's one of their newer brushes and it's their concealer brush. Been really loving it for concealer. So I just used a little bit of the Sigma color corrector, and then Salt New York sent me one of their concealers. So I just put it in this Salt New York compact. And so I basically just take a little bit of that and go over the color corrector with it. I wasn't really sure about this concealer, but it looks really pretty when I blend it out. It's very emollient, but it seems to cover it quite well. So I'm happy about that. And again, I've only worn this like 2 or 3 times, so take it with a grain of salt. I didn't even realize I was just a grain of salt, but yeah, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's also very like dewy looking, so you can like really see where I'm putting it against the ABH more like blurry foundation, but I'll set it all with a powder. So that is just some of my base makeup that I have been using frequently, but also the new ABH foundation that I wanted to show you guys. And then I've been really enjoying my Makeup by Mario powder, so I'm just going to flip the brush, and this is great for powder as well. It's like a nice thin dual-sided brush, so you can just flip it around and use it to apply the powder. I also have this Rare Beauty puff that I just kind of press the powder on with. I was using this before I got this brush, but the brush is nice, the poof is nice, whatever. I'm gonna try to use powder more. I feel like I'm always so like delicate and like minimal with my products, and I really don't know why I'm like that. It's like, just buff the powder, girl. Like, use it. Use it to set your makeup. It goes a long way, and I'm always like so extremely delicate, and it doesn't even really like make any sense. So just gonna put like a nice coating of powder on the under eyes, and I think it really helps tone down the sheen of that concealer, which I think is what I need with how much more matte the foundation is. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some eyeshadow primer, do my brows, and I'll be back to try out the new eyeshadow palette from Gourmand Girls. So this is the Bitten palette from Gourmand Girls, and this is launching on the 27th at 10 a.m. Central Time, and you guys can use my discount code with Gourmand Girls to save a little bit of money on this palette. It's KHMAKEUP. It has the most beautiful color story, so I want to show you guys some close-ups and swatches really quick before we get into it. So first of all, this has more of a dark theme for Valentine's season, and I kind of love it. It's definitely more vampy. So as you can see the packaging, I believe it was designed by Doodles by the Bunny, and they have some palette information on the back as far as ingredients and things like that. It says that the palette was made in the PRC. Net weight is 60.8 grams or 0.593 ounces. 12-month shelf life, and this palette is cruelty-free. I don't have a price on this, but I would assume it's similar to the price of their other palettes because it's a similar format. Now we have the shade Beaute, which is a beautiful iridescent shade. Elemental Dust is a beautiful light gray. Vampira is a beautiful purple. Hunted is a gray, almost black shade. Slayer is a beautiful purple shade with lots of silver sparkles. Blood Dust is a burgundy shade. Nosferatu is a beautiful purple. Euphoria is a beautiful plummy shade with also lots of silvery sparkles. Shapeshifter is a darker purple. Hysteria is a beautiful multichrome. I think it has like shifts of blue, burgundy, and a little bit of green. And then we have Figs, which is a beautiful burgundy shade as well. Immortal is a beautiful light purple. Bitten is a beautiful shimmer like black with tons of colorful flecks in it. And then Hellmouth is a beautiful brown tone shade. So I'm really into this. I feel like Gourmand Girls is in like their dark era. I felt like their last palette also had more of a cool tone. Just like, I don't know, it was like a darker vibe to it and I was kind of here for it. So I'm really loving this color story and I'm very excited to play with it. I think I'm going to do a purpley look because that's just what it's screaming to me. So I'm just going to go with my gut and I'm super duper excited to dive in. So let's start off with the shade Vampira, which is that beautiful mid-tone purple. And I'm just going to throw that in the crease. I actually went through my eyeshadow brushes. And pulled out all my Sigma E25s and E27s and like anything that has this shape. I feel like that's the brush like I want to blend all my crease colors with, and I really need to clean the rest of them. So yeah, I finally did myself a favor. I really need to organize my brushes still. And I got a comment from somebody the other day saying like, are you gonna do your collection videos? And I was like, in my head, like, yes, I see you. I know it sounds like it should be easy, but it's not, because like I'm so in denial about how much work it is. And like, not only is it a collection video, right? If I declutter anything, like I have to rehome all those things, and it's just a big commitment and it's just a lot. So I'm like trying to mentally prepare myself, but really it has to be, maybe it'll be a summer project because, but even in the summer it's like so busy. It needs to be like something I can film like after the kids go to bed because it's like hours of filming. Anyways, that's not your problem. But this shade, I had so much fun chatting while I was blending it. It's so beautiful. And then I want to take Immortal and kind of go above the shade Vampira and just kind of like on the edge just kind of blend a little bit. Okay, I don't know if I've talked about this with you guys already, but since I'm here chatting, please do yourselves a favor. If you haven't seen the show Nobody Wants This Yet on Netflix, please go watch it. It's so cute. And if you've already seen it, let me know what you thought about it because I thought it was so cute. And I just started watching it again. I pretty much, you can like watch it in a day because I think the episodes are like a half an hour each. So I just watched it on my phone and I'm pretty sure I just got to the last episode. Haven't finished it, but it's just such a good watch. It's such a wholesome show. So anyways, that worked out great. Now I want to put on my lid shade before I deepen things up. So I think I'm going to go in with Hysteria. I just thought that color was so beautiful and it swatched like a dream. So let's go ahead and put that on the lid. I found this brush when I was cleaning. It's the Angie Hot and Flash. I found so many of my like BK Beauty brushes and some Singe brushes that had been hiding deep in my collection. But look at how well that picked up. It's just like, you can just tell it's going to be one of those shades. It's going to foil on like a page on my eyes. It's about to be so beautiful. Just like watch, okay? Yep, see? It's like, it's almost like a cream. I'm just going to put it all over. I think I might have picked up a little too much. I'm getting a little bit of fallout, but still, that shade is so beautiful. So sparkly. Okay, I've got quite a bit of fallout on my lower lash line. I'll wipe that off in a second, but for my waterline today, I used the shade Rocco from Glossier. Okay, so to finish up my lower lash line, I'm going to grab a pencil brush and go into Vampira, and I'm just going to kind of slowly blend that onto the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Immortal and I'm just going to go on the edge of that. Okay, I really like this pencil brush. It's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go into the shade Hunted, which is a deep shadow, and I'm just going to run that kind of on the outer edge. I honestly don't think this look needs much deepening. So I'm just gonna add a little bit. Okay, everything's looking super good. I'm just gonna take a teeny tiny pencil brush and go into the shade Mina, which is that first iridescent shade, and I'm gonna use that as my inner corner, of course. Okay, so I was able to brush off the eyeshadow pretty easily. The eye look is done. I'm loving how it looks. Now I'm super pumped because I want to try the Soft Pinch Liquid Contour from Rare Beauty. They actually so kindly sent me 5 of the shades and I did swatch them on Instagram. I also posted it as a YouTube short, so if you're curious about the shades I got, check it out. I picked out the shade Serene for myself. I think this is gonna work really well for me. So you guys know I love me some liquid bronzer, so I'm just gonna put some on in the places that I usually put on liquid bronzer, and I want to blend it out and see, but this is my first time actually applying it to my face. And yes, I know it's technically a contour, but I don't really contour my face anymore. So my plan is to just apply this where I would use my regular bronzer. It's definitely a little bit more cool toned, but I'm thinking if I just blend it, I'll be okay. And I usually do put on a powder bronzer on top of my liquids because I figure it's a great way to use up the product too. Okay, it blended out pretty well. What do you guys think? I feel like it looks fine. It's definitely not like my ideal shade. I definitely prefer a more warm bronze, but let's put on some powder bronzer and see if that kind of helps set everything down. Okay, I'm just gonna use a bronzer I like. This is the Pat McGrath bronzer in the shade Desert Glow. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on top. Okay, I think that really helped everything. So that is how it's looking so far. I feel like I have so many blushes to try still because every brand is coming out with a blush, but I did pick these from Patrick Ta. So let's go ahead and use one of these blushes. So I got the shade She Knows Who She Is, and she left me on red, of course. I think I'm going to use She Knows Who She Is today because I feel like it'll pair really well with this look, and I'm so excited. So this is definitely a shade that looks like it's gonna be really good for deeper skin tones, but let's see how it looks on my medium tan complexion. I'm gonna just use this brush to grab some of the powder product, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of the powder on. I know with Patrick Ta's products, he says use the powder first and then the cream. So we can try it that way. I feel like this shade is just a little too dark for me. You know, I should have learned from the mahogany shade from Dior, but I was like, maybe if I just go in with a really light hand, and then you're supposed to go with the cream on top of the powder. Holy moly, this is very, very pigmented. Okay, I think I need to just like pat with my foundation a little bit because it's looking a little much with my skin tone. I think it's a little too dark. But I think that's going to be good news for deeper complexions because it'll show up on deeper complexions, hopefully, because it looks quite dark on me. Obviously, I'm not the deepest skin tone, but I'm making as educated of a guess as I can with the information that I have kind of in my brain, I guess. But that is how it's looking so far. So I have worn this highlighter a few times on my channel. It's the Moth to a Flame highlighter from Unearthly, and it's so beautiful, and I think it'll go really well with this look. So I'm just gonna use this highlighter. Technically it's pretty new, so I might as well show it to you guys again, but look at how beautiful this is. It has the most beautiful peachy sheen. this is my kind of colorful highlighter. I feel like it is natural enough with my skin tone, but it's still a pop of color, if you know what I mean. My nose is running and it's driving me nuts. Anyway, I'm gonna put a little bit of highlighter on my nose, on my lips, and on my chin. Looks so over the top. It's a little bit ridiculous, but that's okay. You guys, I can't believe I just told you I didn't have a new highlighter to try out when I just had this box from Urban Decay sitting on my makeup desk so I could remember to try out one of these shades. But I guess we'll have to save that for testing new makeup episode 2 because I totally spaced and just like didn't even register in my brain, even though I'm literally so excited to try out that particular liquid highlighter. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to take this off. So I'm going to go ahead and use this new setting spray that ColourPop sent me. I've used this quite a bit. If you know me, I definitely love affordable makeup that's actually good. And so I'm super happy that they sent me that setting spray. I think it's beautiful. So I'm just going to wait for it to dry down a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to use a new lip product. So I did splurge on 2 of the MAC Nude lipsticks. I'm so excited. So I got the shade Hodgepodge in the Sleek Satin and Iconic Photo in the Silky Matte. So those are the 2 colors, as you can see on the box. I haven't even opened these yet. Again, I kept forgetting that I had these to use, and so I just kept using lip products I already had in my collection. But this is the shade Iconic Photo, and of course I picked like the 2 most like terracotta looking shades in this launch. So I'm just gonna go in. I don't usually line my lips, so I'm just gonna go in with this particular shade and then I'll wear the other one some other time. But I'm so curious because it's been a lifetime since I used a MAC lipstick. Definitely has that same fragrance that MAC lipsticks have. So my lips are like extra dry right now. They definitely need to be exfoliated, but this shade did a decent job. It didn't tug too bad and it doesn't feel too drying. But that is the shade Iconic Photo from the MAC Nudes launch that they had quite recently. So you guys know this is like my kind of color. And I think that's everything that I wanted to test out. So I'm going to go off camera, throw on some mascara, wipe up my nose, try to do something with this hair, and I'll be right back to give you guys my thoughts on all the new products I tried out today. Okay friends, so here is the finished look. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are. Now that we have tried all the makeup on, let me go ahead and give you guys my first impression thoughts on the things that I put on my face. Now, like I mentioned at the start, you didn't get to see me put this on, but this is the Pretty Fresh Peptide and Niacinamide HA Set It Up Primer from ColourPop. I feel like this is meh. I need to, of course, test it out some more, but overall, I'm not that jazzed by it. I feel like it's okay, but I definitely have other primers I prefer, or I would just rather use a really good moisturizer. I am more impressed by the setting spray that they came out with because these came out at the same time, I believe, and ColourPop did send me this too, just so you guys know, and have been really enjoying this one. I usually use the Urban Decay. This is the all-nighter, and it's the hyaluronic acid one. Really like this one, but I'm happy to have something new to test out, so that's the one that I've been reaching for a ton, and I just wanted to mention it to you guys. The ABH foundation, I'm honestly really impressed so far. I love the finish. I think I did a decent job with the color match as well. I definitely want to test out the longevity of this foundation. I did wear it the other day and I thought it wore really nicely, but I still need to put this to the test. And right now I haven't really been leaving my house very much because it's been so cold. So I feel like I can't really give you guys my true full thoughts on it. But I think the finish is absolutely gorgeous and I'm very, very excited about my future with this foundation. The MAC lipstick is beautiful. Again, like I said, my lips are pretty dry, so even though this is a beautiful color, I'm not like super blown away. I definitely feel like I should maybe just throw on a little lip oil. Let's just do that so that I can get my hydration in with a lip oil. These are the ones from Unearthly. They're so pretty. I'm like such a sucker for matte lipsticks, but I've also fully gotten on board with like a simple glossy lip, and lip oils are just such a great one and done product, and you don't have to fuss with them too much either. So I've been really on board with the lip gloss, lip oil, lip balm trend, I'm not gonna lie, and look at how more hydrated and juicy my lips look. So I mean, the color is beautiful. But as far as the formula goes, I definitely still need to decide how I feel about it. It's okay. Nothing that's blowing my mind at this moment in time. And then as far as the Rare Beauty contour goes, definitely not like a shade that's blowing me away, but I did swatch this next to my Say liquid bronzer, and it was a very similar shade, so I think it's fine. Like, again, if I didn't have this sent to me, I probably would have still bought it, but if you're somebody that already has a liquid bronzer in your collection that you really like, I wouldn't say you need to run out and get this, but if you happen to use that up and you're looking for a new one, highly suggest trying the ones from Rare Beauty. I also really love their price point. I think these are like $25 or $27 under that $30 price point, so I think that's also something to consider when you're thinking of this, but I think it blended in really beautifully, and yeah, overall I'm really loving how my makeup's looking. It's a little over the top, but you know, nothing I can't pull off if you ask me. I will say the Patrick Ta blush, I would say proceed with caution. It is a little bit pigmented, so you definitely want to go in with a light hand. I feel like I went in with a light hand, but I still feel like I did too much. So this is such an iconic color, with Mocha Mousse being the color of the year and whatnot, but I really, really like it with the highlighter. So I think I made it work in the end, but I'm always open to hearing you guys' thoughts. And then I said I have worn this a few times already in videos, but this is a really pretty freaking highlighter. And in case you guys haven't been keeping up with Unearthly, I believe they're moving warehouses. I think maybe they said they're getting their own warehouse, so they're trying to move inventory, and they're having a lot of really good sales right now. I know quite a few of their palettes are 30% off on their site as well. So I know I posted the information on my community tab, but if you want to support and you're placing an Unearthly order anyway, feel free to use my affiliate link, because I will make a commission on that, and I super appreciate it, because of course I put it right back into my channel and it really helps me out. So just want to mention that they have some great sales going on if you had your eye on any of their palettes. And then last but certainly not least, let's talk about the Bitten palette from Gourmande Girls. I think the formula is lovely. I think the mattes were so easy to blend. I was really impressed with that shade Vampira. I think it looks so lovely. I really built it up in the crease because I wanted to see how pigmented it was, and I'm really liking how this look turned out. I think the shade Hysteria was beautiful as well. So bright and vibrant, and it went on beautifully. I love when metallics just foil on. They just like glide on, and they're almost like a cream formula. So that was really lovely, and I did end up using the shade Mina in the inner corner as well as on my brow bone, because I just wanted to be super over the top with this look. So I think everything worked really well. I don't want to say it's the same great Gourmande Girls formula that we're used to, but it is. It's the same great Gourmande Girls formula that we're used to, and I think the packaging's lovely as well. So yeah, I think this is a beautiful palette. Obviously, you don't have to buy this palette. You can always shop your stash and find inspiration from this color story and just recreate the look. So please know that anytime I do these videos, it's not so that you have to feel any pressure to buy. It's just so you guys can make a more educated purchasing decision. I know when I started watching YouTube, that was like my main thing that I was always conflicted with, because things don't always look the same on every single skin tone. It really depends on your undertones and stuff like that. And I always felt like my favorite beauty gurus were swatching things, and I would go out and buy them, and it just didn't look the same on my skin. So that's why I create these videos. That's why I started my channel, so that you guys could get my perspective on these products. So I'm super hoping that this video was helpful to you guys. In case you are interested in purchasing this palette, like I said, it's launching on the 27th, and I will put the information in the description box for you guys. My affiliate code is KHMAKEUP, so you will save if you use my code or just use somebody's code, just so you can save some extra money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Engagement is a free way to support a channel, and I know me and all my other fellow creators appreciate it when you guys engage with our content, so thank you so much in advance for that. I hope you guys are having a lovely day. If this is all the time you have today, I will see you in another video soon. But if you have a few more minutes, if you want to hang out, if you want to check out some of my other videos, YouTube should be offering you guys some suggestions.